Are we live?
Did you go to school for all this?
You guys are gonna be so surprised when I talk to you.
Okay. I need to shut up. I just need to be quiet. I am so interested.
Speaking of that, hey, welcome back to G.O.A.T.S Talk. It's your host, Hamza the Truth. We have here.
It's your boy, Mohamed the Curious Sharif.
As a matter of fact, we have a lot of questions for our next guest.
Like a million.
And we can't even contain ourselves.
We cannot.
It's just.
You guys been asking me.
We've already jumped into it.
I think we've got like at least half of our questions already answered.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. It's going to be a short one. No, I'm kidding.
But give her flowers, because we give flowers here.
Honestly, wallah, she's done a lot. And she's an open individual. She's a helping individual in the community. She's not a gatekeeper.
There's a lot
talking
of
about them gatekeepers, man. She's not a gatekeeper. You can go to any of her free seminars that she has. But she is venturing into curing the financial aspect of our community and helping people, get better financially. And build that aspect of their life. We have the wonderful Aceyaa here with us today.
Hey, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
How are you feeling? How was the drive over?
The drive was a bit long, but it was okay though. It was okay. It feels good though. It was a really nice drive. Listen to some music.
Kicking it.
Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of we're gonna just jump right into it. Yes. I think there's a lot of questions that are asked on social media.
Oh, you gonna ask that question right off the top?
Oh, right off the bat.
Go ahead.
We'll go right into it.
Let's put that in though. It's a very
so
good
there's
question.
The way I kind of see it is there's a lot of people who think they know about finances and they'll just speak for hours about you should do this and you should do that, and then there's people that actually know what's going on.
Yes.
But the people who think they know what's going on always ask, would you rather have, and here's the question.
Yes.
Would you rather have $100,000 or dinner with Jay-Z?
Be honest.
Dealing with Jay-Z.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Instead of $100,000?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
Why? Okay. Do you know why I actually say that though? Because Jay-Z, what he has to offer, because one thing that I always say is you could buy your way into getting another person's perspective or, someone who's actually done it. So personal development is so important to me, right? Like it's the most important thing to me. So having Jay-Z's way of telling me like, this is what I did. This is how I became a billionaire, because let's give him his flowers. He's a billionaire. That's I would pay him $100,000 to get that information.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm taking the 100.
Flip the script. She said, give me the 100 and then I'm going to hand it to Jay-Z.
To Jay-Z to give it to me, because I can literally quadruple that.
But what if Jay-Z just doesn't feel, what if he tells you straight up, yo, just be a better rapper?
No, but
let's really be honest.
But I think also too, you need to also know with Jay-Z is that he's more than just a rapper. He's an actual crazy entrepreneur.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman. And like, let's just say Jay-Z was offering a mentorship for $100,000 and he's telling you, I will take you from this to this.
Why not,
there isn't nothing to lose. Personal development is so important, and like scared money don't make no money. So I would actually pay him. I would.
Scared money don't make no money.
Yes.
That is the first lesson that we've learned today. It will be much more. So Jay-Z is also just use him an example. He's a multifaceted human being, and he does a lot of different stuff. He makes music. He has Rockaware, which is his clothing line. He does a lot of crazy stuff. But within our community, there's also people who are multifaceted human beings. They make art. They go to school. They do this. What are some advice that you can give them in terms of just like using that to their advantage? Because I feel like you yourself are a multifaceted human being, and you do a lot of different stuff as well. So
one thing that I could take from Jay-Z also is like the philanthropy part of what he does as well. So like when people because that's something of me, I'm a philanthropist at heart. Like everything that I'm doing is doing for good for the people type of thing. So I would say just do whatever you believe to do. There's nothing, I feel like, because, and we're going to talk about this too, my hobby turned into a business. So how would you know if something that you're doing right now is something that you love doing and it's just for fun right now could turn into a business, you know? So like believing that, the fact that you're actually so having all of those things, but really just, you know, making yourself happy, like doing what you believe in doing. So yeah.
If somebody had to say, or if you had to put a title in what you do, what would that title be?
To be honest with you, a lot of what you could say, like, I am a financial literacy and credit coach. So, like, I'm a coach.
What does that mean? Like,
so
if you could explain to somebody who doesn't even understand what that means.
So, number one, let me just introduce myself really fast. Hold up. So, my name is Aceyaa, founder and CEO of Premier Starter. So, Premier Starter is a financial growth company that specializes in credit. So, everything I do is I work with individuals on building their financial growth, but in the aspect of personal and business credit. So a lot of people who come to deal with me, or individuals or organizations, they reach out to me because of the credit aspect of things, right? So we work on not only the credit part, because, and this is something that we're going to dive into as well, but then, you know, your credit is a byproduct of your personal finances. So when people join my programs or when they're working with me, we're working with more than just a number. We're working with your habits, your money habits, the way you think about money. Because a lot of people, we were raised in, you know, being scared, or that money mindset of not having, you know, like a high money mindset. Like, we're scared of money a lot of the time. So when I tell people, yeah, I'm a credit coach, they'll be like, okay, like, what is a credit coach? I work with individuals on their personal finances with their personal credit. That's it. Simplify it like that. So. Yeah,
that's amazing, mashallah. So to go back to what you said earlier, I'm a big fan of the practical and taking things that you learn and things that you hear and applying it. And I also would love, like, just, this is me, if I was a viewer here and I was just watching it, I would love for me to like walk away with a few stuff that I can go out and implement. So guys, get your notebooks out. I'm gonna help y'all out.
Okay.
You said that there should be ways in which you should take whatever that you love to do, the hobbies that you have, and turn it into a business, right?
Yep.
So is there any way that you can maybe walk us through, in the simplest way, going from I love to do this, right?
Okay.
For example, painting. I love to paint. I love to have paintings, make paintings, create art, whatever it may be. How can someone go from that as a hobby to whatever it may take to finally, you know, monetizing it and making it a business for themselves?
So I can give you guys an example, right? So let's just say someone is a painter, okay? And they wanted to start painting, and they've been painting for a very long time. They could sell their paintings. So like they could just sell the paintings they could start their own e-commerce store and actually sell it, start doing marketing on it and stuff. But they could also think a little outside of the box and turn those paintings into like a clothing brand. So like you could actually go ahead and, you know, put that painting on a t-shirt and have people actually rock your clothing brand, or put it on a hat, or doing those things. So I would say, as a painter, there's so many things that you could actually do. You could also teach people how to become a painter. You could do workshops. You can do seminars. You could teach people. You could create an actual course and, you know, do an actual course on painting and, you know, starting up painting. There's like 7 different streams that you can do with just that one thing. So like, don't limit yourself just because, like, let's just say you're a painter and you just think, oh, I just have this, you know, canvas right here and I could just paint and I just want it on the wall. No, you could turn it into a clothing brand, turn it into a course, teach a class, have a workshop, have a 3-day master program, something, you know, you can do all those things.
Growing up, did you think you were going to get into this? Like, did you go to school for it, or was it a passion,
actually,
a hobby turned passion?
You would be so shocked when I say this, and I say this to people and they're like, what the heck? So I actually went to school for human services. And I went to school, did 2 years at Inver Hills Community College. But I always knew I had this entrepreneur in me since I was like 9. And I worked with my dad at his nonprofit. I did all his checks and balances. I was always so driven since I was a kid. And my dad would always tell me, you're going to own a business one day. I'm like, I'm not going to own a business. Leave me alone, you know? But growing up, I knew I wanted something for myself. So I went to school 2018, I got into a car accident. You know, I stopped going to school for a while. And then I actually had identity theft, you guys. So like, this is how I even got into credit. And around this time is like when I was recognizing and realizing my mental health was like down the drain. Wasn't going to school. I wasn't working. Like I was out of work, out of school for a while. And then I also realized that like, my credit, it wasn't where it needs to be. And then I had things on my credit profile. There's things that were correct, but there's things that were not mine, like credit pulls that I've never seen before, accounts that were not mine. And I was very scared. Like, I was like, okay, like who has my information? Contacted a whole bunch of people, different credit repair agencies. No one did anything for me. Like, I was like, okay, no one's even telling me like the process of identity theft. Like, who am I even supposed to talk to at this point? And then I started to teach myself. I really did, because there was absolutely no school, no program, nothing. So I actually paid mentors. Going back to the whole thing, as you were saying, like in the beginning, your information really changes your situation, because the stuff I learned from those who did it was just phenomenal. So I ended up actually like paying my way through, learned from people, took courses, did educational courses, like got certificates, did all of those things, but then also realized that there's no such thing as actual credit program in school. There's no financial literacy program in school. There's financial educator programs now, but back in 2018, 2017, there was actually none, So, it was crazy. So I started off, 2018, took it really serious, took it so serious, and then got into the whole entire, getting into the credit thing. Wow. So, that's a little bit about how I got in. I was working as a mental health practitioner for a while, and then that's why I say your financial situation affects your mental health, but it has nothing to do with money, but it has everything to do with your understanding of money, because you have to be in a better position to feel like, like stability is key. And it has nothing to do with how much money you have, but it has everything. So
then with that, let me ask this then, the almighty question, can money bring happiness?
To be honest with you, yes and no. I will say the reason why I say it brings happiness is because it gives you that stability. Having a lot of money might not bring happiness, but then having money does bring happiness. Puts a roof over your head, gives you the luxury that you need, all of those things, So, and then another thing with the no part, it's like having a lot of money, you have to have those things where what makes you happy? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you, around your family? Are you around your friends? Like, money is not the only thing that buys. Money doesn't buy happiness. It gives you happiness, right? Because you could do things like travel, do those things, but then, and gives you that stable life. But then, What about you guys? What do you think?
I definitely, I like to say people who believe money doesn't bring you happiness don't know where to shop. But
I cannot with this.
I believe that 110%. 100% money brings.
I think he's been talking about shopping this whole entire time.
Speaking of that, you were talking about the Gucci
bag, the Gucci bag concept.
Please talk about that. These people need to know.
Oh my goodness! So there's this thing that people say. Back to things people say, but it's this thing of like, don't have a $500 Gucci bag with nothing in it. Instead, have $450 in your pocket. Or no, have a $50 bag with $450 in it. I think it's the same thing. It's $500 spent either way. Like,
how is it spent though? You still got the cash in your bag.
Well, I'm saying either way, you have $500. Either you have $500 that you spent on a Gucci bag, or you have $500 that you're gonna eventually spend. Those are two different things.
It is.
It's just, I think it's the same thing. Maybe the example is bad. This is. Maybe the example is bad.
I want you to clip this part, please.
I think it's the same thing. Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like this is why this whole thing is a great topic for.
Maybe I like Gucci
especially
bags.
at a young age.
Maybe she should educate me right now on why it's wrong and why I shouldn't buy a Gucci bag.
When you were 15, 16, right?
Yes.
Before you even got your first credit line.
Yes.
How would you advise someone coming up?
15, 16, I'm 22. I need that advice.
To be honest with you, though,
you need God.
And I'm gonna just speak collectively, not just with you, okay? Yeah. Collectively, what I've realized is that people glamorize the looking of having money. instead of actually having money. So people will go and max out their cards on travel to Tulum and Cabo.
Yeah.
And then they won't. And these are things that people don't want to hear. You know, people don't want to hear the way you're spending your money is useless. You know, like if you cannot, I always say this even to my siblings, if you can't afford it 2 times, then you can't afford it at all. You don't even have an actual savings or like an emergency savings, but then you're wearing a Gucci belt. That's a problem for me. So like to his point,
his Gucci bag situation,
if you do have the money for it, that's okay. Like I don't mind that. Like that's all right. And I think the concept is what I posted, because he said I posted on Instagram.
Yeah.
But the concept was because a lot of the individuals, and remember that my whole Instagram is like a business Instagram. So a lot of it is like educating and really doing it. So a lot of the individuals that I'm actually like the target audience that I'm actually reaching are those that are really learning to change their money habits and doing those things. But these are things that I see on a consistent basis, and it's really sad because all of these companies, they market to individuals of color, you know, and we're wasting our money. Not all of the time it's not waste, but like most of the time it is, because you can't even afford it, you know, and then people are actually struggling to pay bills and to have, and people are going into debt, and they have collection agencies reaching out to them, but they're buying Gucci bags. Like it just, the math is really not mathing for
Growing
me.
up in a Somali household, was this ever talked about?
No, not with my parents. Was it with you?
Was it with you?
No.
It wasn't with me at all.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
I not credit, not, you know, saving, none of that.
Investments, never.
It's just kind of stuff that you gotta have to figure out on your own.
Yeah, and even with school, like school doesn't teach you. School does not teach you. They don't teach you anything about actual financial education. They don't teach you about taxes. They don't teach you about nothing.
Bro, IRS was after my ass after attorney.
What do you mean?
I did not pay my taxes.
Wait, you had taxes
you need to contact my best friend Ilham, okay?
No,
he said I'm
you
good
need to
now.
contact Universal Accounting Services.
Universal Accounting Services. If the IRS looking for you, call the Universal Accounting Services before you call anybody else. I'm good now, alhamdulillah. I got it figured out. But yeah, I didn't pay my taxes.
What?
I didn't know I was supposed to pay taxes. What the hell? I'm like 18, 19, sitting in my college dorm. IRS is sending me mail. I was like, fuck these niggas. They're not on shit.
Oh my God.
But I'm serious. I think about be the worst assistants ever.
Oh no.
Wait, time
I
out.
was just-
Somali
I said
people are the
that's
worst
another stream of
assistants. And
income.
we streaming right now, but wait.
Oh.
You said Somali people are the worst assistants.
So my person, I know Somali people would be the worst because
he
we're
asked me about virtual assistants. He said, "Is that a real person?" I said, "Yeah."
Where's
Wait,
the
time out,
papers?
you don't know what virtual assistants are?
You know
what
yeah,
virtual
she just
assistants?
explained it to me.
But the fact that you didn't know that is
I did not know what a virtual assistant was.
So,
Listen, when I know something, when I really know something, wallah, I talk my shit. But alhamdulillah, I'm humble enough where if I don't know,
camera while you saying that.
if I don't know what's going on, I'll be the first to say
Look at
it.
the camera.
No, I'm talking to him.
Oh.
I want him to.
When I
admit that.
don't know what's
I want
going
him to
on,
admit that to the camera.
When I don't know what's going on, I'll be the first person to be like, you know what? I should know what this does, but I have no clue, wallah.
I'm the first person to admit, the reason this just randomly got cut, we took a little pause.
Yeah.
But we're back. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how our families don't talk about credit.
Yeah.
And how Somali families should talk about it more.
No, but is credit just a U.S. thing?
No, it's not.
Or is it?
No,
it's not.
No, actually, they have it in Canada. They have TransUnion and Equifax. They have it in the UK. They have it in the Netherlands, but the Netherlands is banks are usually the ones who take care of it over there. They have it in Australia. A lot of places have an actual system. It might not be like Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion like the United States, but like when it comes to
what are those companies you just said? What do they do?
Those are the bureaus. So like Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are the 3 biggest bureaus. There are other ones, you guys. Like there's secondary reporting agencies that are like so much. So like information had that. I think you guys everybody gets them, but like those pre-approval cards.
Yeah.
Everybody gets those pre-approval cards, right? It's because they're coming from secondary reporting agencies. Like, and I'll give you guys a couple of names like SageStream, Innovis, CoreLogics, LexisNexis, and they have all of your information.
I like that one.
Yeah.
LexisNexis.
How are they getting our information?
They do. They have all of your information, even like some things like eviction records. They have any criminal records. They have all of those, and you could actually opt out on them. So you could go on their actual website. So go on the website and actually opt out. So like there's so many different things you can do.
The question I was going to ask is, let's just say somebody maxes out a bunch of cards.
Yep.
Their credit is terrible here.
Yes.
And then they just move to the UK.
Oh, then they're starting over. No.
For real?
No, yeah. Like, it's not going to follow you to another country, you know. But then for the U.S.,
I feel like that's why, like, I'm going to speak specifically for my parents. I feel like that's why my parents never talked about it. Because they never saw themselves being here long term.
And that's, you know, one of my clients, actually, a lot of my clients said that to me. So a lot of them, when I asked them, like, hey, why didn't you build your credit? Or what were you, you know, why haven't you really, like, thought about it? First and foremost, they say that they never even heard about it. Like, a lot of them are like, nobody even told us. And then a couple of them are like, we weren't thinking about staying here for too long. Like, we really thought we were going to go back home. So, like, one of my clients, she actually just recently bought a home. And she was telling me, she did a whole testimonial video. And a part of that video, she said, and it stood out to me, was like, you know, I wasn't planning on staying in the United States, but everything is surrounded around your credit here. So, yeah, it's quite...
Yeah, I can't convince my mom anything about her credit. Wallah. She said, what do you amos? One cake about
But it depends until they start to either if they want to buy a home or
that's when they start thinking about it.
They start thinking about it. And I tell people, please give yourself at least a year in preparation before you start buying a house, you know, with your credit.
Do you feel like let's talk about buying a home, right?
Yes.
Is there a golden ratio of when to buy a home, of like, yo, I make this much money, this is how much of a home I can afford? Or do you think people I feel like a lot of people just purchase homes based off what the credit line gives them?
To be honest with you, if you can rent right now, you can purchase a house.
For real?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like you're renting and I'm being so serious. You're renting an apartment, 2-bedroom apartment for $2,400. And usually when you're renting an apartment, it's 3x the rent, right? So like you're making good enough income.
You said that like that was common knowledge. Wait, time out. It's usually 3x what they would have been paying for like the mortgage of the apartment. So that's what,
like, if you're renting a home right now, like I live in Edina. Yeah. So like when we were renting out our apartment, they basically told us you have to have 3 times your actual rent, right? So like if you could afford 3 times the rent for $2,400, whatever, for 2, like, and now rent prices are going up. You could afford a house.
Well,
all you really have to, and I don't know, you have to talk to a realtor or like a lender when it comes to first-time home buying. But like one of my good friends, she makes $60K a year. She just bought a 4-bedroom house and she's paying $1,100, I think, about $1,100 for a mortgage. So good credit. You know, stable income,
especially with the average apartments in Minneapolis and how expensive they're getting. Yes,
you'd rather go and purchase. I think the most part, I think it's because a lot of people are not educated on buying. You know, I think that's what scares people, and it like keeps people away from the home buying process. But the state of Minnesota has a bunch of classes. Like anybody can go and take those first-time home buyers, even if it's not something that you want to do like tomorrow.
What do those classes do?
They really teach you about like buying a house, like the first time home buyers program. Contact a realtor, ask, is there any resources, you know? So like you can, in the next 2-3 years, you want to buy a house. What do you need to know? What do you need to have? Because purchasing a house is a big deal, you know? And then purchasing that house could be passive income. So it might not, you might just want to go and purchase a duplex and rent out the other duplex and create it into like, you know, another stream of income, and you have a duplex and you have good credit, you have a good job, somebody's actually paying your mortgage for you because you have a duplex, like, you know, and somebody's living.
So there's a lot of
ways.
No, thank you for the answer.
To come up on a house. Yeah. What's up, Hamza? You trying to get a crib?
Bro, I don't think
Hamza would survive.
The thing is I'm in such a weird dilemma where I'm just like, I don't know if I want to commit to buying a crib. Like, I'm 26 now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if I want to commit to buying a crib or if I still want to be in this limbo. But I keep getting the conversation like, yo, you're just wasting your money on rent.
And to be honest with you, think of it this way, like even purchasing like, and I just said the duplex thing as an example, right? You could have a duplex, buy out a duplex, live in the duplex, and that's inshallah planning on doing that. And then you could rent out the other part of the duplex. You'll be in a 2-3 bedroom duplex, and then somebody's really paying rent on that other one. And it's covering your rent as well. Like, I mean, your mortgage as well. So it's like you're basically living for free, you know? So
I like this podcast already.
right?
You giving us dimes. I'm not gonna lie.
I got another one.
Yes.
So I remember this though, when we were talking about families and our parents not really wanting us to, not saying they don't want us to, but not talking about credit and stuff. I remember them always talking about though, like how there's riba in it and how there's interest and there's this and there's that.
That's the
biggest. So obviously there's ways around it.
Yes, there
so is. What are ways around both building your credit riba free and owning a home riba free?
To be honest with you, building your credit riba free is easy. Make sure you pay your credit cards on time. That's it. Literally, if your balance does not move forward to the next month, you will never gain interest on 90% of credit cards. American Express, Capital One, Chase, all of them. Make sure and this is another thing that a lot of people don't know when it comes to actual credit cards, 30% of your credit is utilization, right? So your credit utilization accounts for 30% of your credit. A lot of people tell you don't pass at 30%. I tell you don't pass 10%. Make sure your credit utilization is at 10%. Put something on your credit, on your credit card. If you can, you could utilize the whole entire thing, whatever, but just make sure on that statement date is under that 10%. Your credit score is going to rise. And then make sure you're paying off the balance on the due date. You will never accrue interest on your credit cards.
What about when you're purchasing a home?
So with the house, it all depends on the lenders that you're working with. I would say, and a lot of people have different biases when it comes to lenders. I did research on all the types of lenders, and I've worked with a lot of them through the program. So Islamic financing, you guys, is actually real. I think a lot of people kind of say, well, it's not. There's no such thing. But then there is contracts. In Islam, the Sharia law says there is contracts. And I use this as an example. Like right now, when you go to the Somali mom, Habrir has batis that she got for Jumla, and she got like 12 of them, but she got it for $5 each, but she's selling it at $20. Is that riba? No, right?
No,
that's just like a house. That's a come up, right? So like that's just like the house. So like a lot of these banks, and depending on which ones you work with, I tend to go through, a lot of my clients go through Devon Bank. UIF is a couple of another one that they go through. There's some of them that I really don't know much about, but then those are the two that I actually have relations with people that are there. And I've done my own research. I've looked into them. I read through them. I read the Sharia contracts. I've done all of that for the sake of my clients, so I think a lot of people have this misconception because they hear things or they don't know what's going on. So like they just listen to what other people say. But then it is more expensive. So is it ideal for someone who literally is just looking to purchase a home right away? No. I mean, the down payment is a little extra. So like knowing what you want to do and what you are looking to do it's for your own preference. There are some of my clients that just say, Aceyaa, there's no way I could afford it, but I cannot live in a rental property anymore. And this is the choice that I'm making. Yeah, but everybody's grown, and to each their own. I don't really care, but I give them the tools, I tell them this is the type of stuff you're getting to. I'm not recommending. I just work on your credit. That's all I do. I give you.
She said, I'm not responsible for your actions.
I'm not responsible for your actions. I give you what I give you. I tell you what to do. To each their own. I tag in a head.
She said, I'm going to get you that 500, but if you buy it with a Gucci bag, that's you, man. If you use it, that's your business. But this is really the theme that I'm kind of seeing with this is the power of knowledge and understanding and information, really. Because a lot of people are making mistakes. A lot of people are, doing stuff that or at least not doing stuff that could potentially help change their life, right? And help change the culture as well. Because if you really think about it, if all of our parents coming into this country knew and understood the way credit works in this country and the way that money works in this country, we would not be living in the areas that we live in right now.
Exactly.
We would not be getting the education that we would not be living in the certain circumstances that we have right now, But they hide it, bro.
They
always 20. Keep it. They don't want us black people to notice.
Let me tell you another thing as well, though. And with just the Somali community, and I've wanted to say this out loud for a long time, so I will say it.
Go ahead.
Go look at your camera.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Look right into the camera and speak right into the
mic. But what I did want to say is, I was actually doing a lot of research, right? And I realized, and it was like through African Americans, things like that. It was like the African American community period, actually. And it said the first things first, like the reason why a lot of people either fail in their business or the reason why they struggle even more is the first reason. And I want you guys to guess on what it is. What is the first thing that you can think of why people actually fail?
They don't get like support, or
it's not support, it's ego. People don't, yes, it is. People don't want to actually ask for help. They don't want to, say that they're actually struggling, because we were taught it's abwai. Don't say any of that. But it happens in actual communities of color too. It's not only just the Somali community, but specifically for the Somali community, we need to stop the ego. We need to really tell people, listen, I'm actually struggling. This is not embarrassing. Everybody's going through it. My credit is not as good. And listen, we sign, like, for instance, for me, I sign contracts with my clients. It's a confidentiality agreement. There's a lot of people that don't even know who I'm working with and what I'm doing, but that's nobody's business, because that's yours. You're trying to change your situation. So it's like, I think there's this whole entire misconception of that as well. People don't want to ask for help, and they literally struggle in silence. And that's the problem.
Do you have any like failures or anything that you had while you're starting your own business that you can just show them that, hey, it's normal and it's okay?
Oh my goodness. Examples? Literally, when I first started, my first company was Fundamental Quality Credit Repair. Y'all, my whole business failed. Like, wallahi, it failed, because this is the thing, right? When you're looking to start a business and you're starting a brand new business, number one, nobody teaches you anything about business. You have to learn. So I learned. So that's why another reason why I help with like business credit and setting that solid foundation in your business. Credit repair in my business, because credit repair is a high risk type of thing, and I wanted to do more than credit repair. It wasn't just credit repair. I wanted to do more than that. I had to change the whole name. Doubt.
Wait, why'd you have to change the name?
Because it was Fundamental Quality Credit Repair, and I would get no lending, like, at all. Like, no banks wanted to work with me. Nobody wanted to do anything. Because it was high risk. It was a high risk industry, and there's a lot of high risk industry, like a lot of high risk companies. I mean, businesses that are like super high risk, So it was high risk. But I literally stopped the whole entire company. I had no training, you guys. That's another thing too. Like, people just are afraid to just take the first step. Like, just start. Literally, just start. Like, move your feet. Literally start. Like, it doesn't matter where you're starting. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You have to just move towards that. So for me, it was limited beliefs. I didn't believe in myself. That was another thing. Every single day I would talk myself out of something. Oh, dang, I can't do this because this person is already doing it. Who cares? Nobody is you, and I'm talking to you.
You looking at the camera now already?
No, seriously, nobody is you. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, like the idea that you guys have, like right now, if you guys stopped doing podcasts because somebody else is doing a podcast, nobody is y'all though. Nobody has the strength to do what you guys are doing, right? It's because y'all have that. It's the person, and this is another thing I always say. In business, nobody is buying the actual business. Nobody's actually buying the product. They're buying you as a person. If they don't like you, they're not going to buy from you, But another thing, too, I struggled with my mental health crazy. Like, when I say crazy, I had to really, and I talk about this on my social media, too. I'm, like, so transparent about it because I really don't care. And this is another thing, this ab culture, the day I started, like, talking out, is when I said it's ended, because every single person that joins my program, I don't care what you're going through. You're not, I don't want you to hide I don't want you to hide away from it. You know what I mean? The reason why you're going through that and what you're doing and all that you're doing, you're changing yourself. You're changing your life. You're doing all of those things. And do not shy away from what you're doing just because of what you think somebody else will say. Because we have the ab culture. Yeah. It's true. Like, it's like, oh, somebody is struggling. Damn, this person is going through some mental health stuff. Nobody could talk about it. Why? Because, oh, that person is just dealing with it. Or that person is crazy. Yeah. Oh, this person is that. No, we don't do that. Yeah. No. But I talk about it. I'll be like, listen, my company, we service 1,000 people. I opened up Premier started January 1st of 2021. Since January 1st of 2021, we service 700 plus people in the United States. We're in 4 different countries. And now we're at the 1,000 mark. So we have 1,000 actual clients. I don't want to hear it. You could literally,
Mashallah.
whatever you set your mind to, I swear to God, you could do it. You could literally do it. And it's not stopping here. Inshallah, it's going to go even further. But the message is not to shy away from the problems that you're having. Don't suffer in silence.
And shying away from competition.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z, I was watching like a video, and Jay-Z said something about, it was him and Kanye West dropping an album. And he was like, yo, people are mad at me for trying to compete. At the end of the day, you shouldn't be scared to compete.
No.
Like I like I love listening to other podcasts, but
Yes.
I learn from them. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if I'm in a room with somebody who's doing the exact same thing as me, it's support, it's love, and it's also competition.
But also, you know what competition breeds, right? If there wasn't other people around LeBron James that are constantly challenging LeBron James, LeBron wouldn't be LeBron. He'll be like a regular.
Yeah.
He wouldn't get better. You know what I mean?
Iron
If
sharpens
G.O.A.T.S Talk,
iron.
if we are the only podcast out there, then there isn't any other podcast for us to motivate. There's nothing to motivate us to get better. We're gonna be so mundane, so boring. We could come on here, talk about whatever we want, interview anybody we want. We could. I could just sit in front of this camera and not say nothing and just post it, right? Because there's no other podcast. I know there is no other podcast in the entire world that's doing this. It's just us. But because there's competition, and because there's other people, and because there's people above us, people that are just getting started, people that are right where we are, like it allows for us to compete, and it allows for us to want to get better and want to get better and want to get better.
I feel like it all stems with pride, where it's just like, yo, I just want my flowers for just doing something. Where like if I'm in a room with 10 people that are doing the exact same thing, and I have to stand out by just being better than everyone, that requires too much work. So I'd rather be in a room by myself getting my flowers.
And that's the problem. You know, that's the core problem, because I always say, and I say this all the time, like you cannot compete where you do not compare, because nobody compares to you. Okay. Like I'm gonna say that again.
Just dropping gems.
No, I really
we
am.
have so many gems tonight.
Mano, clip that. Say that one more time.
I said you can't compete where you do not compare, because nobody compares to you. So like, and the thing about competition is there's a healthy way of competing and there's a toxic way of competing. Yes. When you're competing with other people and you're looking at other people's success and saying, I will never get there, all those things. I'm going to try to beat this person. The reason why I'm starting this business, hence why 99.9% of businesses fail, because of like when they start it without having a passion for, like not really a passion, but wanting to start it on their own. Hence why they fail, is because they want to compete with people that already put thought and effort into it. Imagine, but in like actually taking it in and actually competing, because I compete with myself. I don't look at what I did yesterday. The numbers I did yesterday, I want to look at myself and say, listen, quarter one, I did this, but quarter two, it's not going to be like quarter one.
And I feel like, like the thing is growing on your failures.
Yes.
Like I feel like people are afraid to fail. But then like when you're really when you get good at a craft, you realize that, I'm going to fail all the time, but you see that as growth. You know what I mean?
I want to tell you guys a part of my current business right now, something that I actually did. So I was switching softwares, right? This was like around the time that I was getting married. I got married last year, March, but then around the time that I was getting married, and I was so stressed out with like so many different things, so many different clients, all of those things, that I was switching softwares in the middle of my wedding too. Like it's in the week of my wedding. And then I forgot to like transfer over 2 clients, and like I just lost track of it. Didn't even look back. In May or June, I caught it. I literally caught that. And I was like, oh my God, they've been paying monthly since March. I haven't done anything on their report. I haven't done nothing at all. They haven't gotten updates, because we, monthly I do updates with them. I talk to my clients. I was like, I called them. And you know what I did? I told them the truth. I was like, listen, this is what happened. I know we haven't spoke. They were like, oh no, we just thought you were just working on it. No, I have not been. But here's the thing. I'm going to refund you all of the money that you paid, and you get free services for the rest of my programs. I don't care how long it is. I don't care. From even if I have brand new programs, you guys will always have it. You have to be willing to actually take those things that you did and just, figure out like, you have to solve it. It's problem solving. You can't hide from it. People will do something and they'll hide from it, or like they won't accept it. I'm accountable to anything. Tell me I'm wrong, and I'll be like, okay, what did I do wrong? Okay, what should I have done? And I'll reflect on that. But a lot of people don't want to take that reflection. For them to be wrong is something that's something that they don't want to accept.
It's like the conversation we had with Zainab. Remember how you're like political science majors? Once they graduate, they realize, I don't know anything about like the whole
Mm-hmm.
political science situation, so we're gonna go teach somewhere else, right? I feel like the more you learn something,
Yes.
the more you realize, yo, I don't know anything,
Yeah.
and that humbles you.
Yep.
And I don't know, a lot of people get into fields like you said, I'm gonna make
Mhm.
shoes and I'm gonna compete with Nike.
Mm-hmm.
They've never been humble before,
Yeah.
and the moment they get their first setback, it's like, bro, this is lame. It's not even worth it. But in reality, it's like, yo, that failure is what's gonna make you better.
And this is another thing too. It's like right now I work with credit, right? That's one part of my program. There's other parts of the, Premier Starter that we actually do, but the main majority is personal credit. I'm dealing with the bureaus. And I think this is another thing that people need to know. It's like there's a lot of credit repair companies out there that give you that false hope, that target individuals that look like us to believe something that's not true. So people will get on a call with me and say, hey, Aceyaa, I need to purchase a car. The real story, y'all. Somebody told me they wanted to purchase a Mercedes in 45 days. I said that's not possible.
A Mercedes?
Seriously.
Wow.
A Mercedes.
Did they give you their
45
credit
days.
number and everything or not?
No, because you can't. And this is another thing. So you cannot charge without providing a service. So like the person, and this is something that a lot of people don't do. A lot of credit repair companies don't do, but it's actually illegal for you to charge without providing a service. So like nobody can take money from you until you provide an actual service to the person. And that goes for every single month. So like, that's why I gave back the money, because like, first off, I shouldn't even have charged those clients, right? Because it's illegal. Like I didn't provide a service for them.
Yep.
But that's besides the point when it goes back. But like all of, and I lost my train of thought. This is what happens when you just talking to talk.
You were talking about the
Mercedes.
This is what happens when you're passionate.
45 days.
Yes.
This is what happens when you're passionate.
Yes, but 45 days. And I was telling this client, I'm like, no, this is not how it works. Oh, I seen an ad on Instagram. I bet anybody's seen an ad on Instagram talking about 30 to 45 days your credit is going to be fixed. Like, that's not possible. That's not
true. They wanted their credit fixed in 30 to 45 days.
Because they see all of these ads and things, like people are like actually lying to them because it's not true, So I had this conversation with this client, and I said, listen, until you're mentally ready to join my program and commit yourself to at least 6 months to a year, because, to be honest, it might not take 6 months to fix your credit, right? It might be 4 months that you're in the program, then you're out. It might be at the 6 months mark and you might, see whatever, but I can't legally make any promises to you because I'm not the bureaus. I'm not the creditors. All I can do is really just take the law, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and actually fight those for you because I know the law off the back of my hand, and really challenge those things that are on your credit report. But there are things that I tell people, like, 80% last, I think, I don't want to quote the numbers, but there is this article that I was reading too, about 80% of like actual credit reports have inaccuracies. So it's like, I tell people, just read your credit report, view your credit report, learn how to read a credit report. It doesn't even have to be where you have bad credit, but just to learn about it, But that client had a rude awakening for real, but they did join the program. Did
they get the Benz?
They working on it. You can't have a confidentiality agreement. You can't talk about it, bro.
In a year, if you get the Benz.
We don't know what year.
Anybody in Southside that got a Benz, we're going to find out.
We still laugh about it till this day. And they're like, I cannot wait till I actually tell this story to everybody. I said, I can't wait for you to do so too. Because, but it's the way that we were positioned for a while,
How is it having a business where your first point of contact with seeing people go from like a state of, yo, debato, rafad, like, damn, yo, I need to get my credit fixed, to, yo, like, I did it. Like, being with them on that journey. How is it?
It is amazing, but also there's parts that I changed in my program too. Because what I realized is the individuals I was working with, the people, the education that they had around personal finances, money management, money mindset, all of those. A lot of the clients I was working with are scared of credit. They're, so what I learned is the maintaining part of credit. That was the problem. It wasn't even about getting your credit to the right place. The same clients, this was back in 2019, came back to me in 2020 with bad credit again, because they got their credit repaired. They got everything. They maxed out those cards. They had collection accounts. And then I asked myself, I said, Aceyaa, you really failed these people. Even though like I shouldn't have put that blame on myself, I really did, because I didn't do my part into, and that's why I changed the whole concept in my whole programs. I changed it because the concept now is financial growth. It's about sustaining your personal credit and maintaining it. So, and now they're doing much better, but then that's the journey of it now. It's like, it's amazing. Like I see people go from 460 credit scores to like 750 and they're buying their homes. I did walkthroughs of houses and like I'll see them buy their own cars. I'll see them put their kids as authorized users. A lot of Somali parents now are putting their kids as authorized users on their credit cards to boost their credit scores. That's have amazing. One of my clients who has 4 kids and the youngest is 12 who has a 700 score right now, and she's teaching them about credit. So it's like really like that whole it's fulfilling. It's like a passion. Like I love what I do. Sometimes it gets overwhelming because like the amount of people you have to work with, but the building the business part is the stressful part. It's not about working with the clients, not about the work I do. It's the actual business aspect.
Mashallah, that's an amazing place to be.
So speaking about kids and the youth and stuff like that, I'm looking this up right now. It says on this this article right here that from 18 to 24 year olds right now, 74% of them don't know about credit. They don't. What credit is, how to grow their credit, stuff like that. Yeah. So Mohamed, is 18, just out of high school. Yes. I'm trying to give me a credit card, build my credit. What advice would you give me?
Number 1, I would tell you to steer away from these credit cards from Wells Fargo and these secured cards that they give you like right when you get out of high school into college. Like they're pushing on orientation day to get a Wells Fargo credit card that's secured to put $200 of your own money in it, but they don't give you no type of education that's on it, and it's not only Wells Fargo, but I've seen Wells Fargo on mainly like 80% of my clients' credit reports. So we beefing right now. But then, but it's, with, you could say with credit, and an 18-year-old to 24-year-old starting, you're not learning it in school. You're not learning it in college or university. So the first thing I want you to do is YouTube University. That's it. YouTube University. Everything that's on YouTube and TikTok right now, if you search up hashtag credit help, hashtag all of that, just educate yourself on researching. Let research be your best friend. That's number 1. Number 2, read about the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Go and search up Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA, and go on the actual government, the CFPB. So that's the you could search up the name of the CFPB. It's like train of thought is like losing, but the CFPB, and you could really go and actually search and do your research on that. Number 1 is do not ask your parents. That's number 1 too. Ask your parents, what type of card do you guys have? Are you guys building your credit? Are you guys doing that stuff? Ask them to be an authorized user, or your siblings or your cousin, whatever, somebody who has a good credit score. Number 2, make sure you're making your payments all on time. Don't go into collections. Don't do any of that. A lot of 18 to 24-year-olds are just now getting out of school. They have student loans. Make sure you're understanding what's happening to your student loans. Make sure you're contacting your student loans servicer or provider, and making sure that you're getting into some type of arrangement,
And May's coming up.
Yes. So and May's coming up. So make sure you guys are getting into that income-driven plan, okay? The income-driven plan is something. So you could also do that.
What is that plan?
The income-driven plan?
Yeah.
That's the plan that you get into for student loans if you cannot afford the whole entire payment. Okay. So contact your loan servicer before then, and just like understanding. The number 1 thing before you even get a credit card, before you do anything, understand what credit is. 35, 30, 15, 10, 10. 35 of your credit is payment history. Make sure you're paying your bills on time. Make sure you have all of your, everything is on track, right? 30% of your credit is utilization of your credit cards. If you do have a credit card, make sure your utilization is low. 15% is your credit age. So like if you have a card, don't close it. A lot of people do this thing where they close their cards. Don't close your cards. If it's a brand new card, ask for a credit limit increase. If you have a secured card, ask for an unsecured. Call the bank and say, hey, from secured, could I go unsecured? And then 10% of your credit is mixture of credit. A lot of the times, 18 to 24-year-olds, they have student loans. Get yourself something else. And then another 10 is credit inquiry. Stop pulling your credit. I think that's what hurts a lot of people. People have good credit. They have 670, 700, and they're running. And they're like, applying for all these cards and lending and stuff like that. And it's a problem. So, yeah, that's like the biggest thing. So, like 35, 30, 15, 10, 10. That's the biggest thing. So I hope that helped. That gave them a little.
No, that was an amazing rundown.
Yeah.
So basically, go to YouTube
amazing.
before you do anything.
Yes, please.
And then talk to your parents.
And then also, no, not just talk to your parents. Have that conversation with your parents.
Have really, a convo with them.
Yeah, really have
credit
that
card
conversation with your parents. Yeah, and then if they don't know anything about it, also follow me on Instagram. Yes.
What's your Instagram?
At Aceyaa, Aceyaa, or Premier Starter at Premier Starter. So, yeah, and just do that because I give out a lot too.
Another thing that first of all, that was amazing.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. I'm taking like mental notes. Don't worry. I'm gonna watch this entire episode my damn self. I have to be like, secured, not secured, stay away from all of that.
Yes.
But there's I'm not gonna lie to you, there is a lot of skepticism
Yes.
around this financial building.
Yes.
Credit building, stuff like that. And the common theme is the lack of information, right?
Yes.
But also I believe that there's a lot of people who are liars.
Yes.
They're lying and they're here and they're just on social media, they're doing this, they're doing that, and saying join my program and I'll change your life and you'll be a millionaire within 100 days or some crazy stuff like that. Honestly, I feel like just sitting here with you and simply just having this conversation with you, like me and you have never met before.
No, we never.
This
did.
is honest
First
to God.
time
For all of us,
first time that we've all met,
Mm-hmm.
had a conversation, anything.
Yes.
I truly believe that like it's legit and it works. And I'm about to join this my damn self. I'm about to go sign up and be I'm serious. Wallahi. But it's also it's important for us to nurture. We can complain all we want about like the things that are going wrong in our community and this is wrong with some white people, that's wrong, right? But if you so gangsta about it and if you care so much about it, like then speak up about it, but also go invest in or go be a part of or go shout out or go show love to businesses like this that are actually doing positive stuff. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, I have a million and one ideas. I got kids that I kind of mentor at the Brian Coyle Center, so I would love for us to make that connection, stuff like that.
And I do that though,
I know you already do it, of course.
I do, and tell me when to come. And
Inshallah.
like if there's people who are listening that have like nonprofits and things like that, like I'm about to do some seminars and stuff with Tasala mentoring. Shout out to them, and they're doing a lot. Worked a lot with Motivation for the Streets, Reviving Sisterhood.
Big
there's
shout
so
out
many.
to them. Yep.
There are so many different people that I've actually partnered with. Another thing that people shy away from is partnership. You don't have to be the best at everything, but you're good at something. So like stick to whatever you're good at, and just give your gift away. Like there's no reason why you should, like you always say, gatekeep things. I don't like gatekeepers, man. It's not worth it, especially when it comes to this. Another thing I will tell people to look out for too is things like that. When people are promising too much. If you go to any of my stuff, people are like, well, why should I sign up if you can't promise me results? Well, you have a 6-month money back guarantee. So like you sign a contract, an actual legal contract. So like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, you're going to get into a 750 score because in like this amount of time, because I personally don't know myself. So how am I supposed to actually tell you that, so like a lot of the times people will come into the programs and really expect like little to nothing. First off, a lot of the people who join my program, it's a mindset thing. Like when I talk to them and I tell them like, it's a two-way street. I work and you work, we work together, and I swear to you, it's going to work. But the moment I tell you and I put a number on there or the length of time, because that's the frequently asked questions, number one, how long is it going to take? That's the number one question. And my answer every single time is nobody is going to know until somebody reviews your report, and they could give you a rough estimate, but nobody could actually give you an actual estimate. It takes on average, because, there's a whole report that showed that 54% of people, like people of color, had either fair to low credit. That's like millions and millions of Americans just in 2022, 26 million Americans had poor credit.
Wow.
So like when you say poor, you're talking 570. You want to get to 700. That's like 200 points. That's not overnight. Your credit didn't happen overnight. So I think a lot of people have to take a step back and ask themselves, like, this is not something that happened, you know, overnight.
Credit health seems almost as if it's like physical health. Whereas like if you're like almost at the gym where it's like, yo, people coming, yo, how long is it going to take me to get these abs?
Yep.
And it's like,
you know what,
we don't know yet.
You know what it is, and it's a consistent problem that we have on everything from education to entrepreneurship to building your credit to working out and building your body. Instant gratification.
It is.
We got to get rid of instant gratification. Like the more that you can buy into the process of things in your life instead of the outcomes of things in your life, then you'll just fall in love with the work. You fall in love with doing it actually, instead of like, you know, like they come to you be like, how long is this gonna take? I'm trying to buy this. I'm trying to get this. But it's more about the process.
And they'll be ready. Like they'll be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna take it. And then 3 months hits, but Aceyaa, this is taking so long. It's been like 5 months already. I'm like, no, it's actually only been 3, and it's only been 2 rounds.
And and then the process thing too, like going back to the gym where it's like you talked about maintenance, where it's like, yo, people can get the abs, right? You got the abs. Congratulations, you got abs in 6 months. Now though, are you gonna stick with that diet? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna keep going to the gym?
Are you gonna keep, you know, taking care of yourself?
Or are they gonna go back?
That's the problem with credit. A lot of people don't want to maintain it. And I tell them it's a journey of a lifetime. They're like, lifetime. You know, especially small
lifetime.
They'd be like, what?
Yeah.
That's it. And I'd be telling them, but you can't go and pull your credit 50 times. You got good credit. You're ruining your credit for me. Why are you doing that?
You're definitely a goat in my eyes, wallah.
Yes.
You're definitely a goat.
Yes. There's a couple other things that I'm going to tell people. Look out for things like that. Make sure nobody's charging you thousands of dollars. You know, talk to your parents. I see a lot happening in the community right now. There are people who do work on credit in the community. MashaAllah, that's great. But then a lot of people don't really know what they're doing. So just watch out for that. So
okay, so we do this with everybody, right? And honestly, wallahi, I'm excited to hear the answer to this question, just simply from how we've talked and how motivated you are. MashaAllah, 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 Tabarakallah. Oh yeah, watch now. Yeah, better say MashaAllah, bro, if I come find you. But
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Inshallah, in a year's time, we want to have you back. Yeah. Right? We want to have all of our guests back, but especially you want to have you back. But in a year's time, inshallah, we'll have you back, and hopefully we'll be looking a little bit different with your financial consultation, inshallah.
We're going to be up. Now we can pay for the makeup artists and stuff.
Because
we're going to have an LLC.
We have a virtual assistant.
Yeah, we're going to be up.
You know what I'm saying? You see me using vocabulary I just learned right away.
By the way, I told him, I was just like, yeah, my virtual assistant. He said, virtual assistant.
I was like, is that a real person? Is that the little icon in the bottom? The little stapler? You have mail.
Yeah, I said, I got a team.
Yeah. So, inshallah, we'll be looking a little bit different. And I know for a fact, inshallah, you'll have new ventures and be doing amazing stuff. In a year's time, where do you see yourself?
A year's time. Woo.
March 2nd, 2023.
Inshallah. So, my goal and I'm just going to say this just to say it, like, you know, the humbleness in me is going to I want Premier Starter, inshallah, to become a 7-figure company. That's the goal. And it's not just the money aspect of it, but pouring back into the community. I'm looking to fund. So right now, starter grant, I'm giving away the starter grant to my starter community of $1,500 on Saturday. So you guys can come and celebrate with us. So it's going to be the first Premier Starter celebration.
It's on Sunday?
So you guys can, Saturday? Yeah. So you guys can meet a couple of people, but then I'm looking to give away over $50,000 and $100,000 in 2023. So like $50,000 this coming year. So that's my goal. I want my company to fund and be the funder of a lot of the programs that are going on right now and looking to fund Black-owned.
Bro, that is so different from a lot of people.
I love that.
Because majority of the time it's like, yo, how do we get money? How we can finally
say fuck the government grants.
We're gonna go to Aceyaa.
Oh my God, no, seriously, and just bringing more into the community. So like, especially here in Minnesota, because, you know, like I did the growth conference last year with Team Top Figure. Shout out to them. And like we had a huge thing, but just like growing the growth conference, making sure that that's huge, making sure that we're bringing so much more information into the community and just giving. Literally, my goal is to really give out, make sure that Premier Starter hits a set goal of 7 figures, inshallah, in 2023, but then also to give back into the community as well, to pour into
amazing
and to pour into businesses.
Amazing.
But, yeah.
When you doing that giving part, let me know where you finna be at so I can be there.
It was
so I can have my hand out when you doing that giving, so I'll be like,
Saturday we're giving away. There's 7 recipients right now,
mashallah,
7 different businesses right now that actually, there were 62 applicants, 7 were actually chosen. I said due to conflict of interest, I'm not the one that's picking it. So every time I'm picking and choosing like people, you know, like different judges to actually pick, but their applications, it literally made tears in my eyes just reading it earlier today, wallahi, because it's like you could see the passion in other people and just you just need that one person to believe in you. That's all you need, just that one person to believe. And like that's why I have my membership program. For like literally my membership is like I think like $27 a month. People come, we spend every single morning together, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, every other Fridays. You know, I could care less about anything else, but making sure that the people who come, one of them said that my whole mindset changed, Aceyaa, because I'm literally consistently talking with you. And that's just the goal, making sure that we impact more lives. You know?
That's why you picked the Jay-Z conversation over the 100,000.
Yes, sir. And that's why she is a GOAT. Thank you so much for being on the show, Aceyaa.
That was
fun. Please quickly go ahead and give yourself a shout out once again so everybody knows where to follow you, where to take part in your business and all of that.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Aceyaa, so Instagram is Aceyaa. My company's Instagram is Premier Starter, is Premier, and then Starter. I call all of you guys starters. That's my starters, okay? None of them are clients. They're the starters. And then premierstarter.com is the website. But that's it, you guys.
Thank you so much for coming. That's the wrap up for G.O.A.T.S Talk. Assalamu alaikum.